The first contact that went wrong. The story: they received the signal on August 23, 2019. Not from a distant star system. Not from across the galaxy. From 47 astronomical units away. That's inside our solar system. Just beyond Neptune's orbit. And it wasn't a natural signal, it was a response. A direct reply to the Arecibo message we sent in 1974. But here's what made every scientist in the room go silent: the physics didn't work. The Arecibo message was traveling at light speed toward a star cluster 25,000 light-years away. Even if aliens received it instantly and replied immediately, we shouldn't get a response for 50,000 years. Yet we got one in 45 years. And it came from the wrong direction. From something that was already here. Waiting. The response contained modifications to our original message. Changes to the human DNA diagram. Alterations to our atomic number representations. And at the end, coordinates. Specific. Precise. An invitation. Dr. Elena Reeves was the lead xenolinguist assigned to decode the response. She'd spent her career preparing for first contact. Studying every theoretical framework for alien communication. But nothing prepared her for this. The signal wasn't just a reply. It was a correction. Every element of our original Arecibo message that contained errors, and there were 17 of them, minor mistakes in our representation of chemistry and mathematics, had been fixed. As if something was teaching us. Showing us where we got it wrong. In 1974, humanity sent a radio message into space. 3 minutes of concentrated signal directed at globular star cluster M13. It contained basic information. Numbers 1 through 10, atomic numbers of elements essential for life, DNA structure, human population, our solar system, and a diagram of the Arecibo telescope itself. The message was symbolic. A gesture. We never expected a reply in any human lifetime because even at light speed, the round trip would take 50,000 years. It was a message to the future. To species that would exist long after we're gone. But something replied in 45 years. From inside our solar system. Something that was already here. And the corrections it made to our message? They weren't minor. The changes to the DNA diagram showed what human DNA should look like. Additional base pairs. Unlocked genes. Optimized human biology. As if it was showing us the blueprint we were supposed to have. The coordinates in the response pointed to a location 47.30 from the Sun. Almost exactly where Voyager 2 would have been, if it hadn't changed course. When they reviewed decades of Voyager 2 telemetry, they found something that had been dismissed as equipment error. In 2007, the probe experienced what NASA called an attitude adjustment anomaly. Its trajectory shifted by 0.847 degrees. At the time, engineers blamed it on cosmic rays or software glitches. But when they recalculated Voyager's path with that error included, the probe had been redirected. Precisely. To avoid the exact coordinates where the response signal originated. As if something out there moved our probe out of its way. Gently. Deliberately. Someone didn't want us to accidentally find them before we were ready. Before we could understand the invitation. They launched the mission 11 months after receiving the signal. A crew of 4 on a modified spacecraft capable of reaching 47 astronomical units in 847 days. Faster than any human-made object in history. The crew. 2 astrophysicists, 1 xenobiologist, and Dr. Reeves. The mission was classified. The public was told it was a deep space probe testing new propulsion. Only 17 people on Earth knew the truth. We were going to meet whoever sent the signal. Dr. Reeves kept a video log. What I'm about to tell you comes from those logs. They were transmitted back to Earth in real time. And they documented everything that went wrong. Dr. Reeves, Mission Day 847. We're at the coordinates. Exactly where the signal originated. And there's nothing. No structure. No ship. No planet. Just empty space. But our sensors are going crazy. Gravitational readings that make no sense. Electromagnetic fields in patterns that shouldn't exist naturally. Something's here. We just can't see it. The spacecraft's AI began receiving data. Not through radio. Through quantum entanglement, a communication method humanity barely understands, let alone has implemented. Someone was talking to their ship by manipulating quantum states directly. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. When two particles become quantumly entangled, measuring one instantly affects the other, regardless of distance. Change the spin of one, the other changes simultaneously. Even across galaxies. Information transfer faster than light. We can't use it for communication yet because the information is random unless you know how to encode meaning into quantum states. But whoever was at those coordinates could. They were sending messages by directly manipulating the quantum states of particles in the spacecraft's computer. They weren't just advanced. They operated on physical principles we barely theorize about. They were speaking the language of quantum mechanics fluently. And the first message they sent was simple: you weren't ready. But you came anyway. Now we must show you. Dr. Reeves, Day 847, Hour 3, oh God. It was here the whole time. The entire time we've been at these coordinates, we've been inside it. It wasn't visible. But now it's massive. The radar says it's 847 kilometers across. That's the size of a small moon. And it's a perfect geometric structure. No natural object looks like this. The structure wasn't a ship. It was a matryoshka brain. A megastructure built around a power source, in this case, not a star, but a micro-black hole. An artificial construct designed for one purpose: computation at stellar scales. A matryoshka brain is a hypothetical megastructure, a sphere of matter surrounding a power source, devoted entirely to computation. Each layer captures energy, performs calculations, radiates waste heat inward to the next layer. Maximum computational efficiency. Building one requires technology far beyond ours. A Type II civilization on the Kardashev scale, capable of harnessing entire stars. This one was operating on a micro-black hole, portable stellar scale power in an object smaller than an atom. The computational power of this structure would exceed all human computing throughout history by trillions of times. It was a God-scale mind. And it had been in our solar system for longer than human civilization has existed. The entity operating the Matryoshka brain began transmitting its history. Its purpose. Why it was here. Dr. Reeves, Hour 6. It's telling us it's been monitoring Earth for 3.7 billion years. Since the first replicating molecules formed in our oceans. It's been shepherding our evolution. Not interfering directly, but guiding. Adjusting environmental conditions. Deflecting asteroids that would have caused total extinction. We only exist because it wanted us to exist. The entity showed them something. A simulation. What Earth's history would have looked like without intervention. In the unmodified timeline, an asteroid struck Earth 542 million years ago. The Cambrian explosion, when complex life exploded into diversity, never happened. Earth remained a planet of bacteria and simple algae. Forever. Complex life was a statistical impossibility without intervention. The entity intervened. Redirected that asteroid. And thousands of others across geological time. Not because it cared about us specifically, but because it was running an experiment. Dr. Reeves, Hour 9. It's saying Earth is one of 847 planets in this galaxy where it's conducting the same experiment. Seeding conditions for complex life. Protecting those planets from extinction events. Waiting to see which species evolve intelligence. Which ones figure out mathematics and physics. Which ones send messages into space. We're not special. We're test subject number 847. And the Arecibo message? That was our final exam. We passed. The entity's final message contained an offer. The reason it corrected our DNA diagram. The reason it showed us the optimized version of human biology. Dr. Reeves, Hour 12. It's offering to upgrade us. To modify human DNA to match what it showed in the corrected message. It says the changes would eliminate genetic diseases, extend lifespan to centuries, increase cognitive capacity by orders of magnitude. It would make us better. But we'd no longer be entirely human. The modifications would be permanent. Heritable. Every human born afterward would have the upgraded genome. Humanity 2.0. Not evolved naturally, but engineered by an alien intelligence. And the offer came with a condition. Accept the upgrade, and we join the federation of 847 test subjects who passed their exams. Refuse, and the entity leaves. Takes its protection with it. Lets natural evolution, and natural extinction, proceed without interference. Dr. Reeves. Command is asking me what they should do. And I don't know. We came here hoping for contact. For knowledge. We got both. But now we're being asked to fundamentally change what we are in exchange for survival. How do you make that choice? Dr. Reeves, Hour 23. We've been debating for hours. Market thinks we should accept, says refusing advanced biology out of pride is suicidal. Yuki thinks accepting means we lose our humanity, become pets to an alien zookeeper. And I'm stuck in the middle wondering if there's no right answer. If both choices end humanity as we know it. But then the xenobiologist, Dr. Sarah Okonkwo, discovered something in the transmitted data. Something the entity didn't explicitly state but was buried in the historical records it shared. Of the 847 planets in the entity's experiment, Earth was number 761 to achieve intelligence and pass the final exam. The other 760 had made their choices over the past 3 billion years. Every single one accepted the upgrade. 100% adoption rate. 760 civilizations, all choosing to be modified rather than face natural extinction. But when Dr. Okonkwo examined the long-term outcomes for those civilizations, she found something disturbing. Dr. Okonkwo, Hour 26. They all followed the same pattern. Pre-upgrade, these civilizations were creative, chaotic, unpredictable, making breakthroughs through trial and error. Post-upgrade, they became efficient, logical, optimized. But they stopped producing fundamentally new ideas. They perfected existing technology but rarely invented novel concepts. It's like, they became too good at solving known problems and lost the ability to imagine unknown ones. Evolution is about trade-offs. Increase one capability, you often decrease another. Make a predator faster, you might make it less energy efficient. Make a brain larger, you need a longer childhood to develop it. The entity's upgrades optimized human biology for known metrics: longevity, intelligence, disease resistance. But optimization for known problems might reduce flexibility for unknown challenges. Genetic diversity, including our flaws, might be humanity's greatest asset. Our irrationality, our emotional volatility, our chaotic creativity born from imperfect neurology. What if those imperfections are features, not bugs? And the upgraded civilizations? They became stable, predictable, useful to the entity's broader purposes. They joined its network, contributed to its computations, served as nodes in its Matryoshka collective. They didn't die. But they stopped being independent. They became parts of the machine. Dr. Reeves, Hour 31. We've made our decision. All four of us. Unanimous. We're refusing the upgrade. Not because we don't believe we'll face extinction eventually. We probably will. Not because we think we're perfect as we are. We're obviously not. But because we looked at what happened to the others who accepted, and we don't want that future. We'd rather face extinction as ourselves than survive as optimized components in someone else's machine. Maybe that's pride. Maybe it's stupidity. But it's our choice. The entity's response was immediate. Choice acknowledged. Protection withdrawn. Natural selection resumes. You will not hear from us again. But know this. Of 761 species offered upgrade, you're the first to refuse. You're a statistical anomaly. We will observe outcome with interest. Dr. Reeves, Hour 47. We're heading back. The entity is gone, or at least invisible again. We have no idea if we made the right choice. In 10,000 years, in a million, will humanity look back and say we were heroes for preserving our independence? Or idiots who refused the life raft? But here's what I keep thinking about. The entity called us an anomaly. Out of 760 civilizations, we were the only ones to refuse. What if that's exactly what makes us valuable? Not our conformity to optimal design, but our tendency to make statistically improbable choices? Maybe the entity's real experiment wasn't, can we upgrade you, but, will you accept if offered? And we just became the only civilization in its database that chose independence over optimization. We're the control group. The one that wasn't modified. The natural evolution baseline. The crew returned to Earth on March 8, 2021. They brought back terabytes of data. Proof of alien intelligence. Evidence that we're being watched. And the knowledge that humanity once chose independence over safety. The story was never made public. You won't find official records. But the decision had consequences. In the past 3 years, we've had 17 near misses with asteroids that should have been deflected. They weren't. The entity kept its word, it stopped protecting us. Natural selection has resumed. We're on our own now. Some scientists argue we should have accepted. That pride will kill us. That we chose extinction over adaptation. Others argue we made the only choice that mattered. That a modified humanity wouldn't be humanity at all. That survival as ourselves matters more than optimized survival as something else. But here's the real question. If another civilization, one of those 760 that accepted the upgrade, visited Earth today, would they even recognize us as intelligent? Or would they see us the way we see chimpanzees? Primitive. Unmodified. Still struggling with the natural imperfections they left behind. Convergent evolution means different species independently evolve similar traits when facing similar challenges. Flight evolved separately in birds, bats, insects. Eyes evolved dozens of independent times. There might be optimal biological solutions that all intelligence converges toward. If true, then maybe the entity's upgrades weren't making us less human, they were making us what all intelligence eventually becomes. And by refusing, we chose to stay at an evolutionary stage that's temporary. Doomed. Or maybe not. Maybe there's value in the journey. In struggling. In being imperfect. In being the anomaly. Dr. Reeves' final log entry, written after returning to Earth. I still don't know if we made the right choice. But I know we made our choice. Not the safe one. Not the logical one. The human one. Flawed, emotional, statistically improbable. The entity said it would observe the outcome with interest. Good. Let it watch. Let it see what unmodified, unoptimized, naturally evolved intelligence can do when we're not following someone else's blueprint. We're the only control group in a galaxy of test subjects. Let's see what natural selection can still produce. The first contact went wrong the moment it succeeded. Because we learned we're not alone, we're not special, and we're not protected anymore. We chose independence over optimization. Authenticity over safety. Ourselves over improvement. History will judge whether we were heroes or fools. But at least it will be our history. Written by us. In our own imperfect, chaotic, beautifully human way. *The End.